What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Make Money Matter. And in this episode, we're talking about how you must avoid being a perfectionist. Actually, I used to be a perfectionist too, but you must avoid because actually it can really sabotage. And today we're joined here with the amazing and smiley Chibaria.
Hello, everybody.
So today we're talking about not being a perfectionist, especially going into business is very difficult doing that as well. And do you want to just shed some light on it?
Yeah. So first, we actually want to ask you guys a question. Like, if you are a perfectionist, comment yes below because we feel for you. It's one of the things. Like what I always say to new students is that perfectionism kills business because a lot of the time when you're thinking of, oh no, it needs to be better, you're not putting stuff out there, and it is so important in business as well as in everything in life. If you want to manifest results, to keep on moving, to get the energy flowing, to keep the momentum, and to allow you to actually learn from different things to come back.
Actually, I was doing a YouTube coaching recently with my students, and I was like seeing that some people, they were like, 6 weeks on, they hadn't made a video yet, and the rest of the batch has been making videos, and I say, where's the video? And they say, oh, I'm still waiting for the new camera codec whatever thing to put onto Final Cut Pro. I don't even know what he said. And I said, what is that? And he said, oh, you don't know what it is? I said, no, sorry, I've only made 800 videos and got 700,000 subscribers. I don't know what that thing is, but I've never needed to know, you see? And then he said, oh yeah, I just wanted to get the quality better and things like that. And I'm just saying, well, actually, you should just put something out there. A very good case of it was actually Mr. Beast. Some of you may know of Mr. Beast. He's he's super excited. He's got like 30 million subscribers now, and he did that in just the last few years. And people are saying, how did he grow so fast? Actually, all his videos were filmed all from his phone. And it wasn't even an iPhone 11. It was iPhone 5 or 4 or something like that, you know? And it just proves that sometimes people can overthink everything in their mind, try to get everything perfect and not actually get anything out there done.
Yeah. And then there's actually one particular strategy that they would love to share with you guys that you can practically implement in order to, avoid perfectionism. And we like to call it the iPhone strategy. So make sure to comment that below, the iPhone strategy. And it basically has to do with, two different things that you need to do. The first thing is you need to set yourself a deadline and say, by that time, I just need to have it done. I just need to put it out there. And then the second thing is learn from the feedback that you're getting. Because if you're thinking about it right now, you were just talking about the different iPhones, right? If right now you have iPhone 11, I think it is. If you look at the iPhone 1, it looks like, wow, this thing is from the Stone Age, right? It's like so outdated. But if Apple had been thinking at that time, oh, it's not good enough, we're going to keep on perfecting it without actually putting it out there, then it would have never evolved as beautiful as it is right now, because what they learned from is the feedback that they got. So what a lot of people fail to understand is they think like, no, it's not good enough yet, but it can never reach perfection if you're not learning from your audience, if you're not learning from the market space. So by you putting something out there, just say, okay, this is the deadline, just like Apple did, and say, okay, right now we're going to make it as good as possible until that deadline, and then we're just going to launch.
Perfect.
And then when it comes out there, you get feedback.
So
listen and perfect.
So do you think it's fair to say that people are allowed to be a perfectionist only up until a time? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, be a perfectionist, because at the end of the day, we must try as best as we can to make it as perfect as we can until a date. So the main message that we have here for perfectionists is those who are actually over perfectionists, or what sometimes we say overthinking or analysis paralysis, where people actually start analyzing too much and trying to perfect everything too much and never get stuff done, right? So is it fair to say that, hey, you should be a perfectionist actually, but set yourself a deadline and make sure you are launching regardless of whether it's ready or not at that time. You must make it ready. Right?
Yeah, 100%. And from that, also, you keep, like, from the energetic terms and stuff, you keep the energy moving, because the moment that it stops, everything stops, and your growth stops, and your ability to help people stops. That's right. And it's not good. So perfectionism until the deadline, you put it out there, and then you allow the fruits of your creation to come back. And people may say things to you that you at the drawing table would have never thought of yourself. So
people will give feedback.
Yeah,
and feedback will allow for the 2.0. At the end of the day, there would be no iPhone 2 if the iPhone 1 was perfect. There would be definitely no iPhone 11. So we do not actually get you perfect, but it is the journey towards perfection.
Yeah.
That is what we
Exactly.
should move towards, but we gotta be moving. The
Yeah.
biggest problem is people are on the halts, just thinking. They're never actually taking those steps because they're overthinking.
Yeah.
So I think with perfectionists, it's very important to launch.
Yeah. Launch, and that launch can be when it comes to a product, it could be towards it comes to a program, it could be towards making that post. It has to do with a lot of different things. And even if you're not looking in terms of business, launch yourself to that meeting with that person, maybe the love of your life. It's like every single thing as
Just
well.
get yourself to do it.
Yeah, get
right?
yourself to do
It's,
it.
oh,
keep
but I'm not
moving.
perfect. Oh, but my hair's not ready
Yeah.
yet. Oh, but I haven't bought that dress yet. It's like,
Yeah.
no, actually, just maybe now is the opportunity. You must go.
Yeah.
And you must do the best you can at this point and go at the time
Yeah.
that the opportunity portal is
Yeah.
open. This is what I always say. Huh?
Yeah, and also actually just to add to that as well, a lot of the time I really, really, feel that perfection is an illusion, and it actually is the opposite of perfection. Or even if you look at us as people not being perfect, that is our strength. It is like us having our vulnerability connects to people as well. Even if you look at superhero movies, right, and you see this scene with Spider-Man where he just lost Uncle Ben and he's he feels like a failure and you feel like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Those are the moments that we connect as an audience, that we think like, wow, Spider-Man, you got this, you can do this, and then we feel like, hey, he's just like me. And if you are coming across as too perfect, then no one will connect with you. But the vulnerability allows you to actually be more perfect than you thought.
That's very nice
perfectionists.
for influencers and people who want to make an influence in this
Yeah.
world and want to get their message out there, personal branding, because it's about, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does things wrong. And it's the moment when those things happen, then, hey, how can we actually be okay with all of that and
Yeah.
say, hey, everybody's human. And then when you can do that, then actually you become relatable to everybody out there.
Exactly. And then you actually form a strong connection, a tribe, a family,
That's
where
right.
you grow together.
That's right. This is why actually you see a lot of celebrities go through a lot of things in their life, and then they become relatable. That's when
Yeah.
their fans all buy into that whole concept of them going through different mistakes and different struggles and different depression and
Yeah.
different things in life, right?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting when we talk about this topic, because I see a lot of people who when they come to our events and we say, hey, well, at least have a book, right? And they say, oh, but I'm not quite ready yet to write my book. And I always say this thing with their life story, because I say that people are saying, what do you want to write? I want to write my story. It's like, okay, so you say your story's not ready yet, so you can't write your book. Yes. It's like, so when will your story be ready? When I'm successful. It's like, when are you successful? I don't but I feel that if I just go a little bit, this is what they say, I feel like if I go a little bit further, I'll have more to write. I'll be like, okay, well, you should write it inside coffin. It's like, what are you going to do? Because if you want to write think about it, if you want to write your whole life story, then you got to wait till that day.
Yeah.
You better write it fast on that day as well, right? But you need to understand this, that actually wherever you are at right now, trust one thing, there's somebody who can relate to your story.
Yeah.
There's somebody who's gone through what you've been through
Yeah.
before, and somebody who needs to hear your message. And
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter how big, how small you feel that situation is, it's relatable. And that's
Yeah.
what's most important, the truth.
Yeah.
So I think that to everybody who's ever thought about writing a book before, I think it'll be nice to actually give them a book challenge.
Oh, that would be really
Get
cool.
them into the group. So those of you who haven't yet joined Shibaria's Smile group, I'll let you hold them accountable to that.
Yes.
And then I'd like you to, inside the group, post a book challenge, and then set yourself a date, a deadline. I don't care. My first book was actually written within like 30 days or something like that, because I made a
nice.
commitment on stage that I'm going to complete the book and people can have a copy of it.
Yeah.
And so I'd like you
Deadline?
to inside, yeah, that would be a nice challenge. Inside the group, actually type book challenge and then set the date so that Shibari can see it, and so that the whole Smile Network can also see and hold you accountable. Sometimes it takes that to
Yeah.
actually get stuff done. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And also just on a final note, about what you just shared before about, your life story not being finished and that actually that doesn't matter. A lot of the time people don't realize that it's not only that they can change lives, they can actually save lives. Do you remember we had this event 2 years ago, and there was this guy named Prince, and he came to the event and we were talking about this similar concept and saying like, you should put your message out there. And then he said, okay, I'll do it. And then one day he came back because we hadn't seen him for a long time, and he stood up while you were sharing a similar segment and he said like, everybody, this guy is right. And then he shared his quick story where he said, one day I was standing at the waiting for a train, and I was like 7 more minutes delayed. So he was like, okay, what else do I have to do? So he picked up his phone and he went live and shared his story. And then he put his phone in his pocket, went into the train, and he sat down. And at some moment he felt, the phone ringing or the phone going off. So he looked at it and he got a message. And he said at that moment when we were at the event, he said, this message was, it really made such an impact. And the whole room was quiet at that moment. And he said, in the message, someone said to him that, if it wasn't for you sharing your story, if it wasn't for your live video, I wouldn't be living right now. And then at that time, the whole crowd was silent and everybody was like, whoa. But then he said that wasn't the only reason, the biggest thing that happened that day. He said, later that day, I got another message of someone saying exactly the same. And then, at that moment, everybody started clapping. I don't know if you remember that time when that happened.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He was just sharing what he had been through, and it saved 2 lives.
Because we don't know what other people are going through around the world.
Exactly.
And today there's a lot of different things that are happening around the world. And when people are going through so much, actually, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your message, if you were to spread and share light upon the stories that you've been through, the knowledge, the wisdom, the experiences you've been through, and you never know, that small thing, even if you were nervous in that video, it could change someone's life or even save somebody else's life. And that's the power of social media today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So beautiful share. Thank you for that session. And I think that if you guys want to learn more about social media marketing or how to get your name, your message, your brand, your passion out there, to actually learn how to actually do something that's worth your living for, where you're actually doing something meaningful, and at the same time you don't need to be slaving away doing something that you don't enjoy for the rest of your life, then you can feel free, if you haven't already, join Chibaria's masterclass. She's set it so it's free for all creators around the world. It's some link in the description. You'll be able to see it there. Join the masterclass and also join the Smile group so you can join in on the book challenge. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, also comment below, let us know your experiences of any of these things or any questions that you may have, and let us know where you guys have tuned in from. That's always nice to know. And finally, if you're new to this channel and you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button and the notifications button next to it. That's a little bell sign, by the way, because this year I'm dedicated to making daily videos to hold you accountable to make it your best year yet. But for now, guys, we are signing out. Namaste. Ciao.